That down. Let's move back over to the NBA for a second. After talking about the complete flaccid futility of the East,
My mother watches this, John.
Yeah.
there are a couple of notable exceptions. Obviously, the defending NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, who are at what right now, 9-2?
Yep.
And the Cleveland Cavaliers, who as of right now are number one, not only in the East, but in the NBA at 11-0. And unlike the Kansas City Chiefs, along the ways, they are curb stomping a bunch of people. So far, they've beaten the lowly Toronto Raptors, yes, but they beat them by 30. Then they beat Detroit, won by a dozen. Then they won by almost 20 over Washington. They got a good win against the Knicks. They won by 24 against the Lakers. They won by 11 against Orlando. Then in a couple really tight ones, back-to-back games against the Bucks, they won by 1 and then by 2. So there's that. Then they won by 9 against the Pelicans. Then they thoroughly beat the Golden State Warriors, who are looking pretty good, beat them by nearly 20. Won by 5 against the Nets. I mean, they are undefeated. They look good. They are showing dominance in a lot of the games that they're winning. Mitchell, Garland, I mean, the whole roster top to bottom seems to be firing on all cylinders. So Ryan is the guy who follows, actually Ryan and Matt, both of you guys follow basketball like more closely than I do. Is this a surprise that the Cavaliers are looking this good? Is this something I mean, obviously we don't expect them to win 75 games in a row, but I mean, can we expect this kind of dominance to continue? Do you think this is just a quick start, but they'll come back down to earth? How are you seeing them right now?
Yeah, so this is the best start in franchise history, and this is a team that had LeBron for 2 stints.
Yeah.
So best start ever. This is the first year under Kenny Atkinson, who was a coach for the Nets, and he was assistant on Golden State for a long time. So seems like the players really like playing for him, and his offense has unlocked Garland and Mitchell and Mobley. So they're playing really well. Like you said, the wins they've been beating people by a lot, and they've been winning close games. So it shows that they can win any way that they need to. I think coming into the year, people thought they would be top 4 probably in the East. They made the playoffs last year, but Mitchell got hurt, I think, in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was struggling.
So, but if they have a full year of Mitchell, he doesn't get hurt, the next big test will be the Celtics next week on the 19th.
Well, that's the nice thing. Here's the interesting thing about that. They could be 15-0 when they play the Sox, because they got Chicago, the 76ers, Chicago, and
Bulls.
Charlotte. Right?
I'm like, it's not going to fall in state.
Bulls.
I mean, it's very conceivable that they could be 15-0 going in against the Celtics on the 19th. But that's the game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the game that's actually going to tell us what the Cavaliers are, right? So I don't know. When you look at this, Matt, you surprised by this start? What do you think about it?
Yeah, a little bit, but also like nobody's missed any time. They beat the Warriors and like they outscored them. So like that's tough to do.
Yeah.
That's tough to do. So and I think they're scoring the most points.
Yeah, number 1 offense, and their defense is top 15, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's surprising. They're good. Atkinson's a good coach. He spent all that time in Golden State. Yeah, I think it was the surprising thing, or not surprising thing, but like the validating thing is they beat the Warriors, and the Warriors are so hot right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
The Warriors beat the Celtics.
Yeah, and they gave the Celtics a lot of trouble. So yeah, it is surprising, but not.
And they have, and I think the way that their team is constructed too, they have 2 really good guards, obviously Garland and Mitchell. They have a defensive center in Allen. They also, Mobley is a defensive and offensive player. So they have like the key positions with really good young talent. And I think they can make moves during the season too if they wanted. So they can even make their team better. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing that they're kind of doing this without LeBron, because I know there was rumors LeBron could go back to Cavs again or something.
To retire there?
Yeah, but I kind of like that what they're doing now. They have a whole new identity. Garland's been there for a while. Mobley's a recent draft pick. So I hope it continues. I'm glad there's at least one other team that's decent in the East.
Well, actually,
to keep the Celtics from going 82-0. So
on that, I got a question. So look, we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that the 3rd place team in the East is 5-5. Okay, so clearly the class of the East is the Celtics and the Cavs right now. Who, if you had to put money on it, would be the contender? Matt, I'll start with you. Who do you think in the East actually has a contender to make up a trinity at the top? Like, obviously it's Boston and Cleveland. Who has the potential in the East right now to be that third team that gets up there as being one of the dominant teams in the East, do you think?
I think, well, it depends. Injuries always depend, but for the Magic, I thought they were nice, young, fast offense. But then I think the Knicks.
Yeah.
If I have to pick a third, like I
Because
said,
Karl Anthony Towns, he has, like, every single game, he looks like he's getting more and more comfortable
Yeah.
there and starting to assert some dominance. That could be big.
yeah, and so like, I think I would put money on the Knicks for the top three to finish top three in the East if I had to pick another team. Boy, it's rough out there.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah. If I could take away all injuries, I would say the Sixers, but that's never going to happen. So it probably is the Knicks. Nobody's hurt, and they're still working in new talent.
Yeah.
They can get better and be top three.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think? The Cleveland Cavaliers are undefeated, 11-0, and not just squeaking out wins. They're dominating a lot of teams with wins by 20 and 30 and stuff like that. How big do you think they can be? What's the ceiling on this team? Would you think inevitably, yes, the Celtics will overtake them? Can they actually be the monster in the room? Who's going to be that third team to join Boston and Cleveland at the top? Whatever you guys think, jump down in the comments below and let us know your thoughts.